edition of the weekly Q&A. I'm Mick Solomons, the developer of the Starting Strength app, and with me from Houston, Texas, Chase Lindley.
How's it going, guys?
Going good. Give us a bit of that ASMR, Chase.
We're here with the Strength Club on Easter.
So
wow.
And from Georgia, Alex Mitchell. G'day, Alex.
That's me. Howdy.
And from... Do you want to disclose your location, Alex Koseri?
It's Virginia Beach again. Yeah, on the tour list, it's going to be Virginia Beach, then Pittsburgh for a while, then Boston, then back to Virginia Beach, then maybe Georgia, see Alex Mitchell, and then
Working
California as well. Yeah,
we're
hitting all the hot spots, man.
It's like, you know, that old band from the 80s that's doing the One Last Time tour.
That's me.
That's
on
you.
The door of death, just seeing all the boys, just going around town.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we should rip into some videos. It's kind of why we're here, isn't it? Anthony Short with the old power snatch.
Hell yeah, dude.
Nice.
Yeah, dude.
Don't you all just love a power snatch?
Yeah, I will say this, like, the form definitely needs some work, but what I like to see is that you have the balls to actually attempt this, man. Because people your age will stray away from this.
To a website, to like a public forum, dude. Good for
like
you.
more people need to do the Olympic stuff, and this is definitely in the step in the right direction. But what you need to do with this is just, man, dissect this into a couple different things. One is just work on kind of different ranges of motion. Make sure that you can actually hit the jump position correctly. It should be about where your bladder is. And you're going to have to probably go end to end with your grip on the sleeves there. And then after that, I would slowly work it down, making sure that your shoulders are going to be over the bar as you're pushing and getting the bar closer to the jump position. And then slowly work it towards the floor. Because right now you're stopping, you're pausing right on the jump. The bar is missing contact with your legs. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm. In some of the older Ripito videos, when he's teaching the power snatch, just as some big guy, I forget his name, but if you just look at Mark Ripito power snatch, starting string power snatch, you'll see it. And I think he does in some of the older video or the newer videos as well. I do this when I'm coaching. I believe most of the other coaches do as well. You have to explain the pathing and the turnover of the arm. He will physically grab their wrist, and then as it's coming up, he will keep it, and then snap it under as you're going in for the catch. That is incredibly important. So what you'll see with a lot of people who are new to power snatching, they'll just keep their arm straight, and they'll just kind of rotate it really quickly, and then it will get really far away from them. That's kind of happening here, but it's light enough that you can manhandle it. Just like everything with Chase said, figuring out the jump, figuring out that leg contact, it's imperative you figure out how that turn actually works. So hang snatch balances, all of those really help figure that stuff out.
Yep. Cool. We're at an all-time high viewer count at the moment for Easter Sunday.
We have 3 people.
Eight people are actually watching right now.
No
comments.
One of those people, Jesus.
Maybe, yeah.
He's back.
No, down to 6 now. We just lost 2 as I said that.
Yeah, oh, shit.
All right, we got Sully Kidd. I think we've had on a few times.
Oh yeah, this is the ambiguously aged guy.
Oh yeah, he's either
with the SLDLs.
15 or 50.
I mean, that receding hairline, it just could be anything.
Dude, yeah, that could be a 15-year-old.
Yeah. Ooh, I thought he was going to stop there.
Me too. He's in the long leg gang for sure.
Yep.
He does have some nice femurs on him. Whenever I see people now, it's like
I'm
like
creepier way to say it. Yeah.
No, it's like I'm big game hunting, man. I'm like, man, look at this guy. Look at his femurs. Or like someone will have like nice shanks. I'm like, dude, that's nice.
Well, hunting humans is the ultimate form of hunting, so I've heard.
It's the most dangerous game.
It is.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you're judging someone for like the Ren Fair turkey leg, you want someone with like big calves, nice big femurs. Who's gonna take the squat? Mitchell?
I'll take it.
No, Chase.
I'll take it. So I want to see your stance in just a little bit narrower, and then gaze up just a little bit. You do have a short torso, and the gaze down does help, but I think you're still you can lean over a little bit more if you got your gaze out a little bit further. And then just be more consistent with depth. And bringing in the stance is going to help that.
Yep, and just think about driving those knees forward. You're never going to be done. They're just going to keep on going and going and going and going and going. As early as you can get them forward, get them forward.
Mm-hmm.
Who was laughing then? Why was someone laughing?
That was me. I was just thinking about saying check out finasteride. See if you like it.
What's finasteride?
It's for hair.
All right.
In all of my bodybuilding groups online where we talk about special sports supplements, there's always like a dedicated part where they talk about how to not lose your hair. Number 1 is in there.
It's funny you say that because this podcast is now our special new sponsor. It's finasteride.
Oh, yeah, finasteride.
And Blue Chew. So we're covering all the bases.
Oh.
Yep.
I have some right here. Constantly. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Sully Kid. Our old friend Hardy. I was looking at these videos before and I had it on really small and I actually thought the plate said sodomize, but it's actually SQmize. So
close enough, man.
Probably good that I
basically the same thing,
pretty
right?
much, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
You checking out the crossbow in the back, man?
I have that bow. Not the crossbow. I have the bow that's hanging right beside it, though. I have the very same bow.
He has like an interesting decor. Like he has a map, maybe of like all the people he's killed with a bow.
Yep,
and then the number of people he killed right next to it.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. Written in their blood, I'm sure. So yeah, I think you're setting up a little too close to the bar here, which is leaving your shank angle a little vertical. We do want to see a little bit more knee bend on these, which is going to happen if you bring that bar it's probably going to be at 1/4 of an inch or maybe 1/2 of an inch further away from your shin at the start. But it'll be there. It might just be 1/4 of an inch, but that's all you need. That's going to let your knees travel a little bit further forward before your shins contact the bar, and it's going to let you get a little bit more of a back angle here. And really, I think that'll fix everything. If it doesn't, submit another video.
Yeah, get some quad in the game. Maybe pick your gaze up a little bit. But I really like these. Keep hitting your arm day like 3 times a week, man. I know you are.
Bruh,
just keep doing
you could tell. You could tell. Although his legs aren't, they're not nothing. He doesn't have nothing for legs, so that's good.
Yep. Just trying to read what it says on his platform. Let's see that.
That
says 8-man strong. Yep.
Yeah, it's the 8-man. I wonder if it's a brand platform or not.
Yeah, I didn't know they made platforms. That's cool, I guess.
What is 8-man?
It's a thing.
Just like
a brand.
Yeah.
It's like a clothing/lifestyle quote brand for big dudes who like doing big jacked things, which mostly means just like fat guys who want to be like, I do sports. Trust me.
Yep. More or less. I mean, that's
That's it.
All right. Well, there we go. I've got another video from Hardy.
Yeah, we've been
I'm
working
excited
on
to see this elbow
while.
position, man.
I mean, this is about the 6th video. If it's not sorted by now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, get a coach.
Yeah.
Get a coach. So the elbow position is closer, if not there, but we still got the wrists in full extension, basically.
Yeah, the filmmakers video covers this really well. The cue that I like to use is trying to keep it right under your chin. Okay, because if you try to do it with that grip position, you'll be in like a half press. It's incredibly uncomfortable. The easiest solution is just to straighten the wrists out. The bar will move up on its own inch and a half. If you're thinking about using the collarbones as like a tactile feedback or like physical landmark to get the bar, it doesn't need to be on your collarbones, right? Just think just slightly under the chin, straight wrists, and you'll be okay.
Yep.
And you are not special, Hardy. I'm glad you've
in order to accomplish that wrist position, you may have to think about this. You may have to think about putting your wrist into full flexion. And that's okay. As long as on the video you see this, It doesn't matter. You might have to think all the way here. All that is a full contraction, 100% contraction of the same muscles that are going to put your wrist there anyway. So that may be how you have to think about it.
Alex Mitchell, do you ever tell your clients just to grab it with a higher elbow position? Because what he's doing is he's just rolling the bar, and it's getting his wrist into extension. Just with Hottie, what I would tell you, just jack up your elbows a little bit more, grip it with a death grip, roll the bar, not let your wrist bend, and then you're in the proper position.
That's that's exactly what I do in person. I actually set up for the very first time, because I'm dealing with people who have never seen anything from Starting Strength. I'll set up a barbell like them, and then on the other side of the R3 it'll be me, and I'll take them through the setup. Boom, like you were saying, high elbow, grab, tight grip, roll, and they'll always do this, and then I'll go go back, yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that they can roll the barbell or rotate the barbell when it's sitting there. So they'll think that they'll have to slide their hands around it, and it just loses it. So I always say for like the press and for the squat, as soon as your hands contact the bar, you don't have a wrist anymore. The wrist is not an option.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, fixing it at the unrack is, if you can get ahead of it, it's great. But that's one of the things about online coaching, is that it's hard to get through that stuff.
The press is the single hardest lift online coach, I think, without a doubt.
Hey, we got some comments. Hey, people are watching. Andrew Travis, hi.
Hey, Andrew Travis.
Good.
Hey. We actually have a question from Peta Summers. I live in Bundaberg, Queensland, Australia. Hey, it's not far from me. I would like to become a starting strength coach one day. Would online coaching be possible? I'm wondering if he or she means...
What do you mean coaching-wise? Do you mean coaching to become an SSC?
I think I understand what he means. So having someone coach you online to help you guide you through the process, absolutely, it's possible. I believe Starting Strength, or Asgard as an entity, has kind of a coaching mentorship program, but it does actually rely on you already having athletes to work with. So if you just are going from completely ground zero, I wouldn't recommend that. You need to start coaching people, because, again, this is not a NASM CPT thing. This is a professional credential for people who are already doing the job professionally. So I don't know if online only would be great for that, but you can definitely. I would really recommend everyone. Like, I have a few people who are gunning for the SSC as well, who they have me look at their programming for them and their lifting and some of their athletes lifting, just to kind of keep an eye on it. I think that's very valuable on its own. But going from ground zero to starting strength coach all online, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's hard.
No, I think the person means they want to actually become an SSC, and they're wondering if they can actually do the preparation course online.
Prep course you can do it online if you are already coaching athletes. It's not an in-person mentorship program, but you'll have to go to a seminar eventually to do the platform exam.
True.
Yep. And you will need athletes to coach. It's very important what Kay said. You will need athletes.
How long, how long and how many people do you need to coach before you're sort of roughly ready? Is there like a...
it kind of depends on the person. Like, it just depends on how the person develops their coaching eye. Like, with our apprentices here in Houston, like, some people can pick it up really quick, and then they struggle with, the theories and the whys of why we do this. And then it's vice versa with other people. But like just what Alex Koseri was saying, like, you gotta have in-person clients, not just online, but enough to where you're able to go through a squat with your mentor and be like, look, you fucked up the coaching method on step, where you're at the bottom, you didn't point out hip crease below the top of the knee, that the legs are in line with the feet, and the back angle. So you'll definitely have access to either family members or someone you can just pester with lifting videos.
Yeah, and I would say, as an aside, I'm speaking to the people who want to be an SSC, are charismatic enough to do kind of a sales job, and have a gym near them that's not going to like control what they do with their clients. But if you can get yourself into a public gym and teach starting strength in a public gym for like six to 8 months, and then do the prep course while you're doing that, you'll be ready, dude. If you can do that, because you're going to get people in who literally have no idea. They have never squatted before in their life or whatever. So if you can take them and you can get them looking pretty through what help you get with the prep course, or if you do the block course. There's a couple of them now, but if you can do that, then you're the SSC credential, at least the platform exam, will be relatively easy.
So Peta said that I think it's a lady, but she said she's been training clients for 4 years, but doesn't really mention doesn't actually
wonderful.
mention if it's
Yeah.
starting strength she's been teaching.
No,
So that's actually the next thing I was going to
either way.
say. There is a tremendous amount of survivorship bias for people who pass the credentialing process for the SSC. I've had a lot of people reach out to me, probably like it's 6 to 8, I would say at this point, from being an SSC for a little bit over a year now, who have been like, oh, I work at Global Gym XYZ or Powerlifting Gym XYZ, and I want a gun for the SSC. I've been training clients. I know the starting strength method, yada, yada, and I'll go and meet them and watch them coach, and it's dog shit. So understand that time in the game doesn't necessarily equate to it. Even with Chase, like those apprentices have such an exponentially better shot because they're exposed to people who do have a good eye for these things and understanding the why behind it before going into it, so they can have that reasonable foundation for it. But like on a high bar squat from a CrossFit who's been doing it for 6 years, it's also hard to teach yourself out of bad coaching habits.
That's why you have to do the one of the academies or whatever, because that's gonna at least give you a better shot at getting out of whatever bad habits you've acquired. But the fact that you'll have clients available, that's really good. If they're game for this shit, that's a big win for sure.
Mm-hmm. So old mate actually clarified that Peta is his wife's name, and you're talking to Andrew, her husband. So he's posting under his wife's account. Does that change anything you've just said at all?
Not at all.
No.
But why are you posting under your wife's account? That's really weird.
I was always speculative when you said the town name, which was like Bumberdum something.
all the
That actually,
Australian towns,
I tell you right now, that actually perfectly describes that place.
I gotta say, every place in Australia sounds like it was made up by Tolkien. It sounds like it's somewhere hobbits would live. I don't understand.
It's Bundaberg. It's famous for its ginger
Sure,
beer.
I'm sure
Okay.
it's famous.
Yeah, they make coats there. You could say anything.
Yep.
I believe
Yeah.
it.
They have
Hair
really
products.
good boomerangs.
Yeah.
Exactly. Kangaroo, best kangaroo ever. I'm sure.
Oh yeah. All right, let's check another video. We actually got a few comments. I'll come back to them in a sec. Let's keep rolling along. We have Chase's buddy. He's up next.
Oh
the real
yeah.
gangster. What is this? 225?
No,
this looks heavy.
405.
There's more.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
3 plates.
That's 4. I think there's 4 plates on
That's
there.
405.
That might be 405, dude. I don't know what the end plate. Oh, the end plate's a 45
That's
too.
45s.
Oh. Well, at least we know
Hell,
those.
bummer. Is he gonna get out? Shit, is he dead? This is the last video he ever sent us.
No, he just posted in the comments. He's still kicking. I'm kind of curious to watch him get out of this, though. Oh, he's rolling it down.
Okay.
Oh, this is going to be painful. Ugh.
No, he's fine.
He has
He's
it
a
on
big-
the sawhorses.
boy.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's going to reverse curl this back to the rack. He'll see.
Oh man. Alrighty. Yeah.
Man, this looks like a really narrow bench, and we have pretty narrow benches here in the gym in Houston. It's hard to getting your shoulder set with that. You're just going to have to get the shoulder blades a little bit more underneath you and maintain the arch a little bit better on the touch. Because you're slightly losing it. You're kind of losing your positioning. Your butt's getting off the bench. You just got to get a little bit tighter with the arch and maybe get your feet out a little bit more, and I think you'll be solid.
Yeah, to add to that, save the elbow flare to finish as kind of a card in your back pocket. When you're strong enough on the first few reps, you don't necessarily need to do it. But if you're having something getting stuck in that last, like 65% range, it is completely decelerated. You can think about letting the elbows flare to give the pecs more of a chance to get back in the game. I really like pin benching for this. If you can set, I don't know how you do it here, but like if you can set anyone else, but setting pin bench up higher so you're already in that flared position. Because again, the elbows, they'll start really close to the ribs or more towards that 45, but you'll see as benches mature, they utilize that flare more towards the finish. So you may want to play with that, but it will be a technique thing you foster over time, like a heave.
Yeah, dude. And 2 reps at 405 ain't nothing. That's more than most people will get in their life. So, congrats on that.
Is anyone else worried about that bench? I mean,
No.
there's
Yeah, it's rough, dude.
no. I mean,
mean,
the
it
actual
was
the
really
actual
strong.
bench, the actual bench itself. I mean, there's no support under the shoulder blades. There's a
That's
support
what
in
I
the
mean.
middle,
That's what I mean.
and you can see it like actually.
I kind of like the narrow benches because it forcefully makes you get into position, and if you fuck it up, you know you're gonna miss a rep and maybe potentially
think
hurt
that's
yourself.
like-
But
I
you
think
have
that's
to
like a-
maintain. It gives you more emphasis on maintaining proper form.
No, I'm not talking about the narrow bench. I'm talking about the fact there's no support underneath the shoulder blades for the bench itself. Like you can see
Man,
it
am I
bending
bent?
and moving.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
put some wood under that. Yeah, you'll be okay.
Or get one of those.
Get a
Get one of
couple-
the starting strength wooden block benches.
Yeah,
For-
or
for
the
$500
starting
bucks.
string tubo and put it under the bench.
Yeah,
and
there
then
you
it'll
go.
just hold
Wedge the
bench up.
tubo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
all right,
That's
we
the
got.
play.
Yeah. All right, we got comments and questions from Fitty Zen. Can you please elaborate a bit on Texas method versus a stacked HLM for a 20s male with optimized recovery and no other commitments? I'll see you guys.
Stacked?
See you guys in 25 minutes.
All right. And so, to pause, you will very rarely find individualized advice anywhere for free. You will find generalized advice, individual advice. It's very hard to come by. I remember we did it for our boy Steven like last week, talking about the Texas method, just because he's our boy and, you know, Lethal Weapon. We have a long history with him and Chase, brothers from a different mother, something like that. But like,
Different
as
father.
it for Texas method, yeah, something like that. But like to have a Texas method versus HLM conversation, and by stacked, I'm not necessarily sure you might stack. We'd have to kind of flesh out the operational definitions, flesh out where you're coming from. We've said this ad nauseum, but programming is going to be a response to your individual adaptations that you're accumulating and how you're responding to all of those. You know, so it's like you may already have been doing a bodybuilding split, a 6-day-week bodybuilding split, and now you're deciding to go to TM. You may be coming off the LP. We have no idea. You know, I definitely recommend reaching out to one of the gang, maybe even Mick. Mick could probably handle this one too. Reach out to Mick.
Just dump it all on Nick.
Mick is
Please.
quickly shaking his head no.
That will
So
go
Doug will
straight
reach
to
out to
trash.
Mick, and then we'll be able to help you out. That's probably a solid hour and a
Yeah.
half of figuring out where you're coming from, man.
Yeah, get in touch
Yeah,
with one.
dude,
Get in touch with one of the guys here. Not me, but anyone else.
If you're old or have something special like medically going on, get in touch with me. If you're a young buck and you got sports going on, get in touch with Kay. And otherwise, Instagram Chase Lindley. For if you're pressing like 300, dude, chase.
By
Or
the
if
way,
you wanna
guys,
press
this is very
300.
important. Have you guys ever been to the Instagram Chase_Lindley?
No.
No.
It's amazing. One of my boys sent it to me after he watched one of the strength clubs. The first picture, the guy had on, he was doing like a Murph. He had on like a weight vest, KT tape all over his body. He weighs like 150 pounds. He was in a stringer. It was amazing.
I'm gonna see if I want to see if I can bring this up
No,
right now.
we need this, please.
So it's like
It's
the
the
underscore
doppelganger.
just took all of his power away, basically. And now he's just covered in injuries.
Should not have added that
He's
underscore.
150 pounds.
Yeah. Imagine
Oh,
if he
God,
used
that's
like a
amazing.
plus sign, he would be so powerful. But instead,
Nah, dude.
but yeah, Chase, you got to go check out Chase_Lindley. It's crazy.
It's
got
spelled
it.
exactly like mine.
Literally yours, just the underscore
Wow.
in there. Detective Mick is,
That's
I think, is
incredible.
probably.
Yeah, I'm going to try and bring it up now. Let's see if we can get this rolling.
Yeah, we need this, right? This is worth the time. But
That's a
yeah,
video.
there's a reason we do LP even with people who are pretty far along in their training, you know, people who have been barbell training but they haven't done starting strength. One of the reasons we like to start with LP anyway in a lot of those situations, not all, but a lot. Oh my God.
It's Chase_Lindley. You got to find the KT. Go down a little
Jesus
bit. Mick.
Christ.
Which one are you after? Which image?
Just slightly. There's one with him in a park. I think it's KT tape. I think it's the third row middle one.
Oh, with the grass?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's pretty
I
high
gotcha.
up there.
Yeah, I gotcha.
We can't see.
Yeah. Shout
no,
out to Chase_Lindley.
I'm screenshotting stuff and yeah.
Oh God. Oh, we're doing this old school. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know
This is
how.
like this is like another. This is like a parallel universe. Like if I was born out in California and I never had,
Yes.
the gang in Wichita Falls, and somehow I was like, I'm really into sailing and I'm really into like vintage wine and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you buy
is
one new watch every year.
Even his
it's a
dog
really
is the
big event
complete
for you.
opposite of your dog, Chase.
This guy is the opposite of me completely.
Yeah. This is like the negative / opposite universe Chase Lindley is
This
this
is
guy's
Bizarro World Chase Lindley.
This is no milk Chase Lindley right here.
Yeah, exactly. Chase Lindley sans milk.
raw
But yeah, the-
milk versus soy milk Chase Lindley.
Oh God.
Yeah, the picture with the plate carrier and the KT tape on, I was like, this is amazing. I got to make sure Chase knows about this.
Oh, that is awesome.
That's magical. Thank you. Thank you.
You should reach out to him. You guys should do a
I
collaboration.
want to follow this guy.
Bruh.
Like, look, man, you. Have,
This is who you could be.
and then we just see Chase Lindley, Chase_Lindley, just
Can we?
blow up to like.
Hey, can we
220.
get Phoebe's reaction for this, Chase?
Hey, come here real quick, BB. Look at this. So this guy is exactly like my name on Instagram, except he has an underscore in the middle. So what I told them is that this is the alternate universe of me. Like if I was born out in California, if I liked vintage wine and all that stuff.
Can't see his face.
Click on the picture, Mick.
Get the green one, dude.
There we go. That was a
Get the
better one.
KT tape one.
Yes.
This is him.
Oh, let's see why you said no milk. Okay.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, we're gonna have like.
I don't know. Is it really?
Look,
that
he has.
hard?
Oh
Did
shit,
you
he
just
has.
Like...
Yeah, I did. I liked one of his photos. It's him eating like on a picnic with a beach. He has like a salad. See, I would never eat a salad on a beach. Like, what the hell is that?
What are you doing?
You're like him from the
You need
future.
a tomahawk
and if
ribeye.
he drinks a gallon of milk a day, then he'll.
Even Mick was like, so this is the guy's dog. He's like, even his dog is the exact opposite.
Yeah, you
That's
should
pretty
tell him.
incredible.
Tiny black dog. Yeah. It was a good find. It was
Look
a
at
good
those
find.
calves,
Shout out to
bro.
Brian for
Sweet
sending that
calves.
to me.
This guy's gonna have 20 new followers after this.
Yeah,
go
right.
ahead and follow
Exactly.
Chase underscore.
It's like,
Lindley.
what happened to your
Suddenly
press,
famous
man?
and starting strength. Yeah.
All right. This Fiddyzen's got another question. It's going to be... I'll ask it anyway. Why would someone go for the grind when you can hammer in more work and decrease the risk of failing by spreading the stress over the week?
Start a new video and we'll answer it while we're answering that. While we're looking at the video.
All right. We got Mel Sitnick.
Actually, Mel's a good example on this, right? So she has some pretty grindy reps, and I think the grind is the best thing for you, right? It's because there comes a point in training where it's not just, weight on the bar and, you just keep adding it, and kind of like the honeymoon phase. The end of the LP is rough, right? And making gains. This is, I think Nick Delgadillo put this in a really good example, is that you don't see that many people squatting heavy weights, right? But you see people running marathons, you see people climbing Mount Everest and all this shit, but squatting heavy and continuously making your lifts increasingly heavy over years and years of training is the hardest thing probably to do almost in anything, right? If you don't have that mindset of going in there and day after day just keep training, busting your ass, and accomplishing things through grinding, you'll never get there.
I think most people would be very surprised if you're using RAR or RPE or whatever auto-regulatory system you're using. You would be very surprised how inaccurate those are for people, even people who have been like very seasoned lifters. Like with the right motivation, you're going to be able to pull out way more reps than you would otherwise. And there's a lot of literature about this where they'll like socially isolate athletes before performance. They'll have them do a Sudoku puzzle beforehand. They'll play loud music or scary stuff, and they'll be like, okay, now go do a competition event. And it suffers just as much inversely as like social benefits. Like if you have people cheering you on, if you have the research team asking you to do more reps, you'll be able to do more. RPE and RIR can be very inaccurate for a lot of people, like tremendously inaccurate, especially people who are coming into a scenario where they haven't done any training and then now they're attempting to do 9 hard sets of something a week. So from like a semantics or theoretical argument, we could definitely approach that as like, okay, maybe there are better things to do than attempting to like keep things at a super high intensity, but you would be giving up a lot of intensity specific adaptations and throwing the practical portion to the winds. Most people have absolutely no idea what their capacity or potential is. I've had people who tell me like who stop at rep 3 of a set when it was flying and it looked like they had easily 5 more in the tank, but to them they'll think they don't have that capacity in them. Like there are plenty of people who think that, like, I'm sure Alex Mitchell deals with this all the time, like they'll never deadlift 100 pounds, but like that 60-year-old guy, maybe after a few months of training, he's deadlifting 255, and for him it's like wildly past his expectations. If you ask that guy what a grind is or what RPE or RRR that was, he would have no fucking idea, you know. You have to remember the human element to coaching with these things.
Yep, and also there's and you know, Rip always talks about this, to the point where it's kind of a trope, but there really is something that needs to be said about the development of the portions of the brain that make you do difficult or hard things, and the grind is such an important piece of that. I don't think we have the literature in like our academic base to show what that, like, why there is an effect on what I assume is the frontal cortex's ability to inhibit signals from the limbic system, something along those lines, something like that. But if we were to do a study on people's ability to adhere to a routine or adhere to a habit, express discipline, you know, tamp down things that they'd rather not do, like smoking, like eating sugar, whatever it is, I bet that, or I would hypothesize that if you had people go through LP, grind their ass off at the end, and then had them try to do that again after LP, you would see them then be better able to keep in line with their habits and their first order desires. And I think that's something that everyone as a coach has experienced, at least phenomenologically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like generally, and I'm sure, I don't know how much problem people have this in in-person gyms. I'm sure Chase's like adherence or compliance rates are like virtually 100% just as the nature of the climate in the gym there. In-person gyms are amazing for that. But for like online coaching, or I would say maybe assume people like logging systems like the starting strength logs, RTS logs, apps, all of that stuff, adherence either completely falls off and they stop the activity, or it gets better over time. As you are disciplined and as you're doing hard things, you're training your ability to be disciplined and do hard things, right? So like getting ahead of that hard phase for the sake of optimization, I mean, like, sure, if you want to be a weenie about it, but, you know, don't be a weenie, is what I would say.
Yeah, and also you're eliminating an entire aspect of programming that you can use. You know, like there is when you have your high intensity, when you're doing your 5 RMs, your 1 RMs, your 3 RMs, all that kind of stuff, that's a knob that you can turn when you know, you've done your hypertrophy blocks or your whatever that is, whatever you were doing, and now that knob has been turned and it's turned all the way to 11. Now you can go back to your intensity phase or whatever you want to do, and you can reap gains that way. And for probably what'll be the final point on this is that you don't really know how strong you are. Really know how strong you are until you have lifted the absolute heaviest weight you could ever lift, right? During whatever phase, that's your measurement. That's how we know, okay, you were this strong, now you are this strong. It is a flawed measurement. We will never have an accurate measurement of actually how strong you are, but probably I think it's hard to argue that the best way to know how strong you are, the best measurement we have, is a 1 RM, or maybe you could argue for a 3 RM or a 5 RM.
Amen, sister. Amen. Mel's deadlift. I liked it. A little bit away from the shins.
Yeah.
Let's get it going.
Yeah, I like to see her stance a little bit wider. I think she's kind of missing some back extension because her thighs are in the way. If anything, rotate the toes out a little bit more, maybe a tiny bit wider with the stance in general, kick out the heels a little bit more, but for the most part, just try to keep the back set. Yeah,
these are very, very solid pulls, Mel. Like, her deadlift has matured a lot from the first time we started seeing her a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You've
An awesome
nothing's wrong. You need to know that too. But yes, that's the function of the coach.
Right. Because, I've been thinking about it some.
What episode is this?
That's one of the live calling ones.
Pressing tends to stick not.
That's a function of a coach, is to be able to tell you what was wrong and how to fix it. Right?
True.
Very good points, Rip.
Well
True
done.
shit.
Yep.
Always a banger.
For sure. El Noir, friend of the show, in the comments said, toward the end of my squat NLP, I would get anxious and sick to my stomach before and euphoric after. I think it probably did some form of character building.
Yeah. There is
Definitely.
something
Oh, yeah.
that happens, like, psychologically. There is something that happens neurobiologically to at least happens to my brain and happens to people who have never done a really, really, really hard thing in their life.
Which is,
I
you'd
love
be
that,
surprised. That's most people.
Yeah.
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 Most people in Western countries, probably.
All right. I'm going to ask this next question. And speaking of weenies, I need to go and take a leak. So I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to leave you guys to it to answer this question. While doing the Texas method, how do I keep adding weight on intensity days after going from one set of 5 all the way to 5 singles? I have begun failing singles. See you on the flip side.
Ooh, I want to hear K.
Change expectations. Yay. How to win at a game that you're constructing is to have no expectations. That's what programming is. But yeah, so if you already tapered or you went from 5s all the way down to singles, the evidence that we have is that the adaptations that you are incurring from your volume day and your middle whatever day are not stimulating enough to match what your expectations are on your singles. So if that is sustained performance on singles, if you're doing a bar speed tracker, if you're adding 1 pound, whatever that increase may be, the expectations in reality aren't matching, so you need to change your expectations or alter whatever your input is. I would recommend resetting the cycle. Okay, and that could be adding more work in somewhere and then altering your expectations for intensity day. That could be going to a set of 6. That could be going to 2 sets of 4. That could be doing whatever combination you need on the back end. Because remember, is that like, if you were taking maybe a 4 to 5 day break and somehow couldn't detrain in between microcycles, then you could probably very clearly separate the intensity stimulus and then the volume stimulus from the front and the back end of the week. You will detrain if you take that long of a break. You can't avoid that. But if you could, that's the way you could do it theoretically. So you are already kind of like breaking the surface of the water for stress if you say you were coming in recovered on day 3 by whatever stimulus you're putting in on intensity day. That's 5 singles for you now. So maybe you could do 3 singles and then 2 back off sets of 4, or you could go to a top set of 5, then some back off sets, or maybe an accessory movement with a shorter range of motion. So you could do a top set of 5 with a heavy ass weight and then do pin squats with that same exact weight but a shorter range of motion. You need to figure out some way in your week to slot more stress in that won't break the bank, and the first thing that comes into is changing your expectations on intensity day.
Nice.
Yep.
Let's go to another video. Benjamin 160 kilogram deadlift. Oh, this is the guy with the booty builder machine. Which is
I want one of those so bad.
Me
man.
too.
I can't figure out how to use it.
Wait.
And apparently no
What?
one does because no one's on it.
Yeah. I think it's like a belt squat, but you put the belt around your hips, and then I guess you like hip thrust up.
He did explain it to us last time.
Nice.
He was on, I think he actually was in the comments last time, and he did explain it. It looks like something's being cordoned off, though, on the other side, though. It's like some police tape or
Ben,
something.
next time instead of submitting like a deadlift or a squat, just do the booty builder,
Yeah.
and so we can see.
Hopefully he
Yeah,
goes
dude.
over and does a few reps of it after he's done with
Exactly.
this.
Set. Or you might do it now. Nah.
Oh,
No!
Ah, dude.
This is how we set
Maybe
ourselves up
maybe
for
that
this.
reluctance was like, man, now I have to go do the booty builder.
Yeah, that's the
After
look,
that.
that's the look on
dude,
your
that's
face.
what's going on.
Yeah.
what do you guys think about these?
I thought that music was coming from me. Sorry. You think he's starting a little too close to the bar, or nah? No, maybe not.
I just think he's trying to back it up instead of actually press his feet a
Yeah.
little bit more.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Do you stick with the push the floor away cue set, Chase? What do you like to do for these?
I do. If that doesn't work, I try to say, like, pick your shoulders up first, so that way we essentially need you to get as straight as possible, as quick as possible. And if you do that with the back, you're losing the element of the legs and the hip musculature. So pushing
Yeah,
the feet, push the earth away from you, make the shoulders come up first. I think even using, well, I kind of use this more for like the Olympic lifts if we need to stay over the bar longer, but sometimes it works for the deadlift. Drive your ass up first, or drive like the belt up first, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I really
Yeah.
like the cue of belt up first. Belt up, that's a very good cue.
Yep. You're also really, really focusing on like trying to contract your lats, which I see a ton in the gym, and it's cued by a lot of like shitty personal trainers. And I really don't think you need to focus nearly as much on that as you need to focus on getting your chest up, like you did kind of on that rep. On the later reps, you start to sort of relax that really, really hard chest up, trying to point your nipples at the wall in front of you. You start to relax that, and it's to your detriment because again, what Chase is saying, you want to get your chest up and like get to here as quickly as possible.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Benny. Comments. Ahmed Sheikh Ahmed. He says, strong Moomin here. Thanks to you guys. Coach was happy with last Friday's squat. I think that was the guy that was squatting at Santana's gym.
Oh, cool.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. What was funny about that, Alex?
Good to hear. I hope
Yeah.
Santana's happy for you.
Yeah. Well, I think he's saying that thanks to the valuable advice that he got
Yeah.
on this. Yeah.
We're more happy for you.
Yeah, we are.
Probably by a factor of maybe 10.
Oh, certainly. At least
Yeah.
a
Easily.
magnitude happier.
Yeah. Okay. R. Durban.
Is this the guy who takes 1,000,000 years on every rep?
Yeah, I think you could be right. This video goes for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so
I knew
It
it.
could be a set of 20.
this is a
Could be set
single.
of
This
20,
is a
boys.
single.
Hopefully this is like a halting set.
Yeah. A 10-second pause count poll.
Are we gonna do the whole thing, or you want me to fast forward?
Hold on. Let's see how long he's taking between reps.
To start, definitely don't let your brace out at the top, Durbin. It's not going to add anything to it. If anything, it's going to, protract the process because you're taking a whole nother second now to unbrace, then rebrace at the top.
If I recall, it gets worse. Okay, that one he breathed in. He breathed out. Oh, good. Now his hands off the bar. Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, no, just set a
if-
timer in front of you. 30 seconds, get everything done in 30 seconds.
yeah,
or the
if
lifting
this is a
police
set
will
of
put you
5
in jail.
If this is a set of 5, it's got to be over in 30 to 45 seconds. Like, chop, 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 burn in daylight. Deadlifts get harder. They get harder and harder the longer you take to do them. And a set like this is going to feel exponentially worse than if you were to just get the reps in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Set yourself at a habit so that...
He's
Oh,
so close
are
to
we-
vomiting. He's so close to vomiting right now.
Oof. Okay.
Speaking of which, what do you guys do for pre-workout meals? What's the ritual for you boys?
Usually,
I
like
don't. Go ahead.
if this seems like it's maybe an early morning thing, and like I had a lady who would because how much acid was in the orange juice, I'd tell her to drink. She would kind of have the same sensation of like it started creeping up in her throat as she was about to pull, or kind of like towards the end of the rep or the set. She had that feeling of, oh shit, I'm about to puke. So like some light carbs in the sense of like oatmeal if it's in the morning, or some rice or something like that. But yeah, you seem like you just fucking ate like the breakfast sampler at IHOP, and you're just fucking going to town right now. You have to manage that.
Shit. That's funny. The breakfast sampler.
Oh God. Yeah. That's really interesting. I would say, if you have trouble with GERD, and you're like on LP and stuff like that, I'd say, you can never go wrong with bread. Bread is one of the few things that you're gonna have a really hard time puking up. So if you're just trying to get some pre-workout carbs in there, I personally I fast before my workouts. I don't eat anything until like after workout at 3 p.m. just because it works better for dietary goals and stuff like that.
The college option is you get some espresso, then you pour some 0-calorie Monster in it, tank it back, works every time. Every time.
El Noirs asked, I'm curious about early morning workouts. Do I have to eat before?
Not at all.
I like to. I mean, so we've ran into this problem
yeah.
here. We ran into this problem here at the gym. It's like, we have a 5:30 class. It's already hard getting your ass into the gym, and it's hard making gains because the majority of the time people just don't want to fucking deal with pushing something heavy at 5:30, right? But like we'd have people come in and I'm like, hey man, what did you eat? And he's like, oh, a glass of water. I'm like, no, that's not going to cut it. Especially at the end of your LP, you have to do something and get your body prepared to eat, right? I mean, it's just like training. You have to train your body to eat and get yourself hungry in the morning, and you'll be fine. And don't start out something that's crazy. Don't cook eggs and bacon and stuff like that. Just like what Alex Mitchell said, make some toast, like 2 pieces of toast. You're fine. Small little
you
cup
just
of
need some
oatmeal.
carbohydrate. Yeah,
just something simple.
And exactly what Lindley's talking about. It's going to depend on your goals. If you are doing something like LP or specifically like end of LP, that grind fest, trying to eke out the last 2 or 3 weeks of that before you switch to something more more closer to like an intermediate program, you're going to need to eat. You have to eat, and you have to eat for your training. You have to eat through the sticking points. But if you're, late intermediate and you're, sort of doing something closer to a 2-week or even a 4-week program, then, your performance is going to be pretty similar, almost maybe not regardless, but despite what you're eating before, as long as you're consistent in what you were eating before, right? The consistency of your diet and with respect to your training is a lot more important at that phase than like when calorie timing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so long as you're not switching your workout times, like if you have like 2 workouts on the morning a week and then 2 workouts at night, or you have no idea when you're going to train, that's a pain in the ass. That sucks.
The consistency
you can never really ritualize
really
anything.
Important.
Circadian rhythms are all over the place. But if you're morning crew every time, you will eventually be able to hash out a system for getting some carbs in, drinking some milk or whatever the hell you can do in the morning. But there's so many. Like the breakfast market is very specifically designed for very fast carbohydrates on the go. So it shouldn't be too taxing.
Hell, a smoothie is a pretty good option at that point.
Oh, love the smoothie, man.
What is the IHOP sampler menu, Chase? That's all I've been thinking about, right? Since you said it.
Breakfast sampler. So it's like I used to get this shit all the time at IHOP. So it's like 2 eggs, any way you want it, 2 strips of bacon, 2 strips of sausage, and then some flapjacks or some pancakes. But what I would do is I'd substitute the pancakes for hash browns and just mix all that shit together with some hot sauce. Boom, you have yourself a meal.
That's great.
Delicious.
Basically, like
you can just ask them to put it in a
Monster
cup,
mash.
just drink it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they were just to blend it and be like, here you go.
Blend
I'd be
it.
like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Is it like, did it cost 89 cents as well?
I mean, it was fairly
I'm
cheap
sure
for
it's
how
pretty
much
cheap.
food you're getting.
Do you guys have the International House of Pancakes in Australia?
No, we don't. They're not that
That's
international.
a shame. That's a
Yeah,
fucking
the
shame.
International House of Vegemite. That's what it is.
Yeah.
We don't even have what's that stupid Outback Steakhouse? We don't even have that here.
I just have to, as a former employee, I have to say that Cracker Barrel's pancakes are better than IHOP's, and anyone who thinks otherwise can fight.
How are we feeling about Durban squats here? I think they're really smooth. I think a little bit more heel balance would do you well.
I'd say
Actually,
surprisingly
I want
so.
him to move the rack a little bit away from the wall because it seems like you're kissing the wall.
He
as
is
soon as
kissing
you
the
put
wall.
bar out.
Or
Getting
squat
pretty close to
on
it.
the other side, right? Like, can't he do that with those hooks? Is that not? I mean,
I don't know
you-
if the
you
cap
read
ones
racks.
do that or not. I have no idea.
Or just, with the rack, like just
rotate.
180 that shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
We
you
have
don't
the
need to be looking at
technology.
the wall.
That'd
dude.
take 3 hours at this guy's pace.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, dude. Same thing as the
R.I.P.
deadlifts. Dude. You got
R.I.P. Durbin.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we're savaging you, dude. We got to get this stuff done, though, right? Like, you got to get this stuff done. The longer you take is not the easier the set is. It is the harder the set is.
Yeah. On a more serious note, you're having to high bar your low bar, which is cool. At the bottom, you'll have a very vertical chest position. Needs to be really forward. It'll feel comfortable and very vertical. You don't have to actively cue hip drive in your brain. So if you're thinking hips, hips, hips out of the bottom, you don't need to. It's probably a little bit better to think about pacing your shoulders up. Okay. If you start noticing that your kind of knees shoot back and forth and your chest is wobbly, then you're doing too much chest. But you want both of them to come up in one nice synchronized unit. You don't want just hips with this model.
Yeah, I like to say drive through the shoulder blades.
Yep. All right, thanks, R.R. Durbin. Mr. Stigsrud from Norway or Sweden or wherever he's from.
What's on the bar here? Is it just 2 or is there a third sneaking on the side?
No, here's a third. There's a third, yep.
I think this is
Okay.
I bet it
140.
didn't move like 225, yeah. Oh, 140 kg?
Probably. I'm not seeing any.
Did he literally clip the video so we can't see?
No, I can see. You can see it on the right-hand side. There is a third plate on there.
Okay.
It's the skinny calves. You just look at the skinny calves and go, "There's no way that's 3 plates," but there are 3 plates on there.
Yeah, dude, this guy looks like he's been doing the bodybuilder split. What is that? The chest, back, thighs, or chest, back, arms, abs, and then legs 1 day a week.
It's so unfortunate, man, because he can lift a fair bit.
Yeah, effectively like upper body 4 days a week, lower body 1 day.
Who knows? He may just have diced quads and we just never see them.
It could
But
be the case.
Mhm.
It could be the case.
Could be.
I think we told him to narrow his squat stance, or I don't know. We told him something.
No, it was his deadlift stance.
That's what
we
That was his
told him.
dead-
Oh, it was his deadlift. Okay. Man, his squats look pretty damn good. I like to see the bar a
I'm
little
about
bit
to
lower.
say.
Take off your hoodie. I can't stand whenever people try to train with a hoodie on. It just fucks you up. Like the bar is never in the proper position. You can't feel where it is on your back, and it slides all over the place. Just take it off. And by the time you get done warming up, like you'll be fine. You can put it on back as you're resting for your next set. But I mean, at that time, you're already warm. You don't even need it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of high bar squatters like the hoodie, and that should just be an indication that you're not getting a good rack position in the high bar. If you need a physical pad between you and that. Like, people will see Olympic lifters doing it, and it's probably just because they've had a bar in their back for 15 hours that week and their skin is torn to shit. You know, maybe that's a different scenario. You're not one of those people. You don't need you don't need a pad there, you know.
Yep.
Exactly.
Even if you're doing high bar, you should be actively shrugging up into it to creating a nice groove for it, and it should be a literal notch in your traps, just right at the top of that, basically right at the top of the cliff for them. Similar to how the rear deltoids make a trap or make a shelf for the low bar position. But like the hoodie's not going to complement you in either direction, high bar or low bar.
Yep. El Noir, what are the benefits of benching for women?
You get a big bench. What the hell?
The same as the benefits of benching for men, only you're a woman.
If you ever are
Yeah,
like an exotic
benching is
dancer, you
cool
can do
and
this.
fun.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you're an
dude.
exotic dancer, you can make your
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And that's it.
That's a benefit.
That's
I'm sure.
all there is.
Yeah, that's all. That's all it is. No, dude. I feel like women like benching more than men at my gym. Like especially at least I don't know about most other clienteles. I'm sure bros are different, but like with my clientele, the ladies want to bench every session. They would rather never press and just bench all day, every day.
Joe Pescato, can you please share some advice on how to press 3 days a week when doing the heavy light split?
So like for an HLM, I think I wrote about it in my upper body specialty
did.
little, I can't really say it's an essay, but article. What you're going to do is you're going to take out the light squat day and you're just going to substitute that in for a pin press or some sort of press variation, because at that point, the light day is just not even helping you. It may be for something to do with like a correctional issue on a squat, if you're using it for like a box squat for your knees or like a pause squat, but the majority of the time you don't need the light day. You can just substitute it for an upper body movement. Same thing with the bench.
Yeah, dude. There comes a point where, the reason I love moving clients to a 4-day split is the same thing. There comes a point where you need more upper body, and you really don't need that third squat that's like, 80-85% or whatever you're doing. It's you can fit that in other ways, right? You can fit the leg volume in other ways. So the extra upper body slot is far more valuable.
I feel like we saw this video last week, but this might be a new one.
I was wondering if it was a new one.
We saw
or if it was
videos
the
from
exact
them,
same one.
from these
Yeah.
people,
Yes.
definitely.
Yep. What do you mean, these people?
It's the black
These
door.
people,
The black door, black wall.
yeah.
Black door, black
If these
wall.
squats are high, they're probably the same ones.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
These
Yeah,
are
I
either
think
the
they
same
are
or
the same
remarkably
ones.
similar.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we did these last week. Let's just jump on to the next video. Stephen Louis. Oh, it's Chase's buddy
Oh,
again.
the boy.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
I love this so much.
Yes.
Someone get
This
this,
is
man a
what doctors
protractor
picture
and make
with
sure it's 90
weightlifting.
degrees.
Look at that. That is just awesome. Hells yeah.
Dude,
You are the
fact
man,
that he
Stephen
didn't
Lewis.
He didn't even have to take a step. Oh my god, that thing was like 3 inches from his shoulders, and he didn't even have to take a step, dude. Oh, that's awesome.
Hell yeah. Layback
Two-
gang, unite.
275 he said in the chat. 275.
Look at this last
All right,
rip.
Chase.
It's amazing.
What are your thoughts, man?
Definitely need to see more
Holy
layback. For one.
More layback.
I want your
No,
shoulder blades
so
on
I
your
wanna-
ass.
Yeah, I want to see more of the hips, right? So you're going to have to prioritize more hips with this. I kind of had this problem too as I was working up with heavier weights. I'm getting into the field where I'm just wanting to lay back, and this is what it's happening on those later reps. Think about throwing your ass cheeks to the wall in front of you as fast as you can and making the bar dip straight down. What you're doing is you're letting the bar dip from your arms, not the hips, and it's causing the drastic layback is what we're seeing.
Question, Chase. What are you thinking about your head position whenever you are instigating a layback?
I'm not. So I'm making sure that I'm looking at whatever I'm looking at as I'm taking the bar out. So a spot on the wall. And then I'm trying not to move my chin at all because I'm focused on either hitting my chin or my nose on the way up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he seems to be initiating, or at least attempting to use his head as like a catalyst for the layback and really throwing the thing
Yeah.
back. I think he would do well with a little bit more mass closer to your midfoot. So rather than throwing the head backwards, keeping your chin pretty tucked. I don't think I think the excessive head movement here may be doing more harm than good. Because it's like your torso isn't going any more back as your head is rotating down and around it. Right, like if you think about them being as a joint unit, you would expect the head to move when the shoulders are moving. Your head is moving well after your torso stops moving. I would try to sync those up a bit.
Craziness. Love it.
Also, fucking pressing 275 out of those like Valor Fitness squat stands.
Squat stand,
Individual squat stands. Oh,
pretty kick-ass.
chef's kiss. Beautiful.
Thomas Sullivan Jr. I'm working on ankle mobility and resting my knee. What workout can I substitute in for the squat?
None.
Why?
Who
Unless
do
you
even
had,
know
like-
here?
Unless you had like a complete ankle reconstruction or your knees like fucking split in half, then maybe consider something else. But you're fine. You can squat.
9 times out of 10, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, is the squat causing undue pain that you've never experienced before in your life, but only happens after you squat and consistently happens after you squat? Or has some personal trainer just told you, hey, you shouldn't be squatting because you need to work on your ankle mobility? because nine
And a
times
lot
out
of
10,
people who
that's the most likely situation.
like address mobility deficiencies as kind of a thing that they will chase as a culprit. Normally, it's to cover a lack of coaching ability. They're like, "Oh, I can't get this person to do a good squat." You know what it is? It's probably your ankle mobility. You should
Yep.
spend time in my gym doing that instead. Like if you are driving somewhere and you fuck up the directions, it doesn't mean your car can't still get there. You can't get
Right.
there because you suck. Not the car can
Yeah.
definitely get there.
And the way you
so
know
it's just
that, is that if they can walk into my gym or Kay's gym or Lindley's gym, and they don't have to do the ankle mobility thing, I guess Lindley's gym, and they don't have to do the ankle mobility thing, then it was a coaching problem. No matter, regardless, it was a coaching problem.
almost always it's a coaching problem.
9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100.
And that guy also said that Vegemite's disgusting, so,
Is it?
Fuck 'em.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Where the fuck do you get that from, man?
I don't.
It's black goo that tastes tangy. John Gloria, 50 years old, NLP no longer works, 4-day split.
Probably.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
You have time for it. If you have time
Yes,
for
no
dude.
babies, man.
If you've got a
Yeah.
home gym, dude, 4-day split ASAP. Like, it's so good. The workouts aren't 2.5 hours, and you get an extra upper body day. We were just talking about that. It's so good.
Yep.
Yeah.
El Noir, is protein important before a workout or just carbs?
I'm more
Locally-
focused
Protein is
on
important
carbs.
throughout a day. Throughout a week.
Yeah,
throughout a
protein
day.
chronically, carbs locally.
Yep.
Yeah. That old
That's very well
bullshit of
put.
like, you need to have like your anabolic window and stuff. No, don't. That's bullshit.
Please don't. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's it.
Cool.
So
Did we do it?
We made it. Right on
We
an
survived.
hour. Hey. Okay, so Chase, where can people find you? You're moving, so do you want to give people a heads up on the new location?
Yeah, here, let me pull it up on some Google Maps because I actually forgot the address. But it's in
Chase
Oklahoma
will
City.
personally email you directions.
Yeah.
If you email Chase, he will call you during your drive to the gym.
Chase _Lindley is going to get a 20% discount as well if he turns up.
Exactly. So the address is 12301 Southwestern Avenue, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It's Starting Strength Oklahoma City. We'll be up and running May 3rd for intro classes. Stop by if you want to shoot the shit or get some coaching done.
Is there a website for it as well that people can check out?
Yeah, it's I think it's Starting Strength OKC.
Okay.
Or just go to the main page, Starting Strength, and then there'll be a tab, I think, that says OKC somewhere.
Nice one. Alex Mitchell, strongandoutgym.com.
Yeah, dude, we're in Sandy Springs, North Atlanta, and I have mentioned it before, but I specialize in people who, masters athletes, so people over the age of 40, or if you're dealing with something that kind of makes it tricky on the programming side or kind of contraindicates just going to a public gym and working out there, something like, you're being treated for cancer, you've got Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, cystic fibrosis, whatever's going on with you. If you have something funky like that and you're not really sure how to navigate a little bit trickier programming, then I'd be happy to help. And I do online coaching as well through Barbell Logic.
Nice. Alex Koseri, what's going on with you, buddy?
Functionally homeless. Who knows? No, but back in Virginia for a while, but I'll be bouncing all over the place. Alex Mitchell and I are going to try and get some lifting camps done in Sandy Springs, which sounds like a retirement home already. Sandy Springs.
You're not wrong.
We're trying to get some lifting camps done. Maybe some in Boston too. Definitely one maybe out in California, more towards Fort Orange. So things will be on the schedule soon. But I do online coaching. I specialize in people who are multi-sport athletes. So if you're juggling a few demands, I work with mostly like martial artists or people who are doing other power sports like climbing, for example, and a lot of endurance athletes too. So if you have anything cool or funky going on like that, let me know.
Sounds good. All right, boys. Thanks for your time. Thanks to everyone who submitted videos and comments and questions. And we will be back next week.
All right, later, guys.
See y'all.